The morning was already charged with political tension when the producers of a popular news program announced that Representative Jasmine Crockett, a rising Democratic voice, would face off against former Trump counselor Kellyanne Conway in a live, unfiltered debate. The theme was supposed to be restoring public trust in politics, but even before the cameras started rolling, insiders knew this would become much more than a policy discussion. Kellyanne Conway had long been known for her sharp tongue and unapologetic defense of her political allies. She had a reputation for bending narratives and, at times, twisting facts into what critics called alternative truths. Jasmine Crockett, however, was equally known for her sharp legal mind, fearlessness, and ability to dismantle misinformation with precision. As the lights flashed and the cameras turned on, the studio audience braced themselves for what felt less like a political debate and more like a showdown. "Good evening," the host began. "Tonight, we bring you an unfiltered conversation between two strong voices in American politics, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett and Kellyanne Conway. Ladies, thank you for being here." The opening minutes were civil enough. Kellyanne spoke about the failures of the current administration, while Crockett calmly laid out legislative accomplishments and fact-checked her opponent. But then, Kellyanne slipped into one of her trademark narratives, accusing Crockett's party of fabricating crises for political gain. That was the moment Crockett leaned forward, her eyes flashing with unmistakable determination. "Fabricating crises," she repeated. "Kellyanne, you made a career out of selling lies to the American people. From downplaying a deadly pandemic to spinning false stories about election integrity, you've stood in front of cameras and insulted the intelligence of this country." The studio gasped. Kellyanne smirked, unshaken. "That's your opinion, Congresswoman. I simply provide the facts that the mainstream media refuses to share." But Crockett wasn't done. She had come prepared, with receipts. "Receipts don't lie," Crockett declared, pulling out printed documents and timelines. "Here's a record of statements you made in 2020, claiming the virus was under control, when thousands were dying daily. Here are your interviews about voter fraud, allegations that multiple courts across this nation dismissed as baseless. And yet, you went on television and misled millions. That's not giving people facts, Kellyanne. That's poisoning democracy." Kellyanne's smile faded, just slightly. The host shifted nervously, trying to maintain control, but the audience had already picked a side. The murmurs grew louder as Crockett continued to press, her voice rising with each sentence. "You sat in the White House and told the world about alternative facts. Well, facts are not negotiable. Truth is not a toy for politicians to play with. And if we're ever going to rebuild trust in this country, we need to stop pretending that lies are just another version of the truth." Kellyanne tried to interrupt, but Crockett cut her off with a final, devastating blow. "You can spin all you want, but the American people are smarter than you give them credit for. You lied, Kellyanne. You lied for power, for influence, and for a seat at the table. And no matter how loudly you deny it, history will remember that." The studio audience erupted, some clapping, some shouting, others stunned into silence. Social media exploded within minutes, with hashtags like #CrockettExposes Conway and #ReceiptsDon'tLie trending worldwide. Clips of Crockett's fiery response circulated instantly, racking up millions of views. Kellyanne, visibly rattled, attempted to regain her footing, but it was too late. The damage had been done. Crockett had delivered not just a political rebuttal but a public reckoning. By the end of the program, the host's closing words seemed almost unnecessary. Everyone watching already knew. Jasmine Crockett had not only exposed Kellyanne Conway's lies, she had blown up the conversation in a way no one would forget.